All right, let's talk about one of the most famous sounds in, well, all of opera. You might not even know the name of the opera, but I guarantee you know the name of the barber.
Yep, that's the one. The name that's been shouted in everything from classic cartoons to TV sitcoms. It's just the sound of pure, unadulterated fun. But what if I told you that this immortal masterpiece started out as a complete and utter train wreck? And that's the mystery we're diving into. How could a piece of music this brilliant, this beloved, be so spectacularly rejected on its first try, only to become one of the greatest hits of all time? So to get to the bottom of this, you have to picture it. We're in Rome. The date is February 20th, 1816. It's the premiere of Gioachino Rossini's brand new opera, The Barber of Seville. The theater is packed, the curtain goes up, and then everything that could possibly go wrong, well, it did. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This wasn't just one little hiccup. First, one of the main singers trips over a trapdoor and has to sing his big number with a bloody nose. Then, during a romantic serenade, a guitar string snaps. On top of all that, you have saboteurs in the audience, fans of another composer who had already written an opera with the same title, and they're just booing and hissing at everything. And the cherry on top? A stray cat wanders onto the stage and absolutely refuses to leave. It was a legendary comical disaster. But here's the craziest part of the story. The composer, Rossini, he was totally unfazed. They say he just shrugged his shoulders, slipped out the side door, and went home to bed. And then, believe it or not, the very next night, the show went on. The hecklers were gone, the audience actually listened, and it was a smash hit. So what gives? Who was this guy who could turn an epic flop into a massive success overnight?
To really get how this happened, you gotta understand the man himself, Gioachino Rossini. He wasn't just some random composer. No, he was the undisputed king of a very specific kind of opera. The kind that was all about having a good time. He was a master of what's called opera buffa, or comic opera. So forget the heavy-duty tragedies, the dying heroes, the angry gods. Rossini was in the business of pure joy. His whole deal was witty characters, hilarious plots, and sparkling entertainment. And nobody did it better.
This guy was really two people in one. On one hand, you have this absolute workhorse, a genius who churned out an incredible 39 operas in just 20 years. But on the other hand, he was a guy who knew when to quit. He retired from opera at 37, right at the peak of his fame, basically saying, okay, I'm done. He moved to Paris and became a legendary foodie. I mean, so legendary he has a famous steak dish, Tornado's Rossini, named after him. He was a master of his art and a master of living well. So what was his secret sauce? How did he write music that was so catchy, so full of life? Well, it all starts with the human voice and a style of singing that was all the rage. It's a style called bel canto, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It literally means beautiful singing. In bel canto, the voice is everything. The singer is the star, and the music is written to show off just how agile, powerful, and expressive the human voice can be. Let's break that down a little. You've got virtuosity, which is just a fancy word for singing incredibly fast, difficult notes and making it sound easy. Then there's ornamentation. That's where singers get to add their own personal flair, like little trills and runs. You've got that smooth, flowing melody called legato. But here's the most important part. All these vocal fireworks aren't just for show. They're all about expressing a character's feelings, whether it's passion, cleverness, or just hilarious, grumpy rage. Now, on top of this beautiful singing style, Rossini had his own tricks up his sleeve, his own signature moves that made his music totally unique and unforgettable. Okay, first up is the patter song. Think of it like a vocal sprint. It's a song that's sung at lightning speed, with tongue-twisting lyrics where every single syllable gets its own note. It's designed to be thrilling, funny, and to just leave you completely breathless. And this, right here, is the perfect example from Figaro's big entrance. Everyone asks for me, everyone wants me, women, boys, old men, girls. It just tumbles out in this incredible, breathless rush of words, and it perfectly captures who Figaro is, the busiest, most in-demand guy in the whole city. And of course, all this incredible music is driving a brilliantly funny story. It's a classic setup. A young, rich count is in love with the beautiful Rosina. The problem? Her grumpy old guardian, Dr. Bartolo, wants to marry her himself to get her money. So the count does the smart thing. He hires the city's fixer, Figaro the barber, to help him out. Rossini's other biggest signature move is the famous Rossini crescendo. You've heard this, even if you don't know the name. He takes a simple little tune, repeats it, and then repeats it again, but a little louder. And again, adding more instruments. It just builds and builds and builds until the energy in the theater is absolutely explosive. It's pure musical electricity. So when you've got music this clever and this exciting, it's really no surprise that a stray cat on stage couldn't keep it down for long. Its comeback wasn't just fast, it was permanent. It basically cemented its place in culture forever.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's incredible. Day 1, total disaster. The very next night, a wild success. Just 2 years later, it's a huge hit in London. And today, it is still one of the top 10 most performed operas on the entire planet. That is what you call a comeback. And its influence is just everywhere. It laid out the blueprint for Italian comic opera for a whole generation. But way more than that, it jumped out of the opera house and right into pop culture. You've heard its music in Seinfeld, in The Simpsons, and of course, in probably the most famous opera cartoon of all time, the Looney Tunes classic Rabbit of Seville. So in the end, it leaves you with this really fascinating question. The story of the Barber of Seville proves that even the most brilliant art can have a terrible first impression. So what is it that makes something last forever? Is it just the genius that went into making it? Or is it about the audience? Finally, once the cat is off the stage, being ready to hear a masterpiece for what it truly is.